Commander James Jim Reynolds stood on the bridge of the USS Aurora, a state-of-the-art naval destroyer patrolling the Atlantic Ocean off the eastern seaboard of the United States. The night was calm, the sea a vast expanse of darkness punctuated by the distant glow of stars. The hum of the ship's engines was a constant backdrop to the quiet conversations of the crew. "Clear skies tonight," remarked Lieutenant Maria Sanchez, the ship's navigation officer, as she adjusted the course. "Should be smooth sailing." "Let's hope it stays that way," Jim replied, sipping his coffee. He was a seasoned naval officer with graying hair at the temples and a reputation for level-headed leadership. The crew respected him, and he took pride in their performance. As the hours ticked past midnight, the calm routine was interrupted by an unexpected blip on the radar. Petty Officer Mark Stevens leaned forward, furrowing his brow. "Commander, I'm picking up a faint signal at bearing 045 degrees, he reported. Jim walked over to the radar station. "Could be a small vessel," he mused. "Any identification?" "Negative, sir. No transponder signal, and it's stationary," Stevens replied. Jim considered this. "Strange, in these waters that could be a distressed vessel or something else. Let's take a closer look. Adjust course to intercept." "Aye, sir," Maria acknowledged, turning the wheel. As the Aurora changed course, the crew became more alert. The ship sliced through the calm waters, drawing closer to the mysterious object. "Visual contact in 10 minutes, Stevens announced. Jim gazed into the darkness ahead, his curiosity piqued. "All hands, maintain readiness. Could be nothing, but let's stay sharp." 9 minutes later, Seaman First Class Lily Chen called out from her post. "Commander, I see a light on the horizon. It's flashing intermittently." Jim grabbed his binoculars and peered into the distance. Sure enough, a faint light flickered against the black canvas of the night. "Morse code?" Lily shook her head. "Doesn't seem to follow any pattern, sir. It's irregular." "Could be a faulty signal," Maria suggested. "Or a distress beacon," Jim added. "Increase speed. Let's get there ASAP." As they closed in, the outline of a tall structure became visible. A lighthouse, standing solitary on what appeared to be a small island or rocky outcrop. "That's impossible," Maria whispered. "There's no lighthouse marked on our charts in this area." Jim's eyes narrowed. "Exactly. Stevens, cross-reference our position with the latest maritime maps." "Already on it, sir," Stevens replied, fingers flying over the keyboard. "No records of any landmass or lighthouse here. Last geological survey shows nothing but open water." A murmur spread among the crew. An uncharted island with an unrecorded lighthouse was virtually unheard of in this age of satellite mapping. "Prepare a reconnaissance team," Jim ordered. "I want to know what's going on." Within minutes, a small team was assembled, including Jim, Maria, Stevens, and a few others. They boarded a rigid-hulled inflatable boat and set off toward the mysterious structure. As they approached the lighthouse, the team's curiosity grew. The structure was aged but sturdy, its stone walls weathered by the relentless sea. The intermittent light continued to flash, cutting through the darkness. "How is this place not on any of our charts?" Maria pondered aloud. "Could be an oversight," Jim replied. "Or perhaps it's been decommissioned and forgotten." They secured their boat at a small, decrepit dock. Climbing the rocky path to the lighthouse, they noticed signs of recent activity, footprints in the damp soil and a faint trail of smoke rising from a chimney. "Someone's definitely here," Stevens observed, his hand instinctively moving toward his holstered sidearm. "Stay alert," Jim cautioned. "We don't know who or what we'll find." At the heavy wooden door, Jim knocked firmly. "This is Commander Reynolds of the U.S. Navy. Is anyone inside?" After a moment of silence, the door creaked open. An elderly man stood in the doorway, his face etched with lines and his eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and caution. "Can I help you?" the man asked in a gravelly voice. "Sir, we noticed your lighthouse isn't on any navigational charts," Jim began. "We were concerned and came to investigate." The man sighed, a hint of a smile forming. "Name's Thomas Miller. I've been the keeper of this lighthouse for over 50 years. Maria exchanged a puzzled glance with Jim. "Mr. Miller, our records don't show any operational lighthouses in this area." Thomas stepped aside, gesturing for them to enter. "Come in, and I'll explain." Inside, the lighthouse was cozy and well-maintained. The walls were adorned with maritime memorabilia, old maps, photographs, and ship models. A kettle whistled softly on a wood-burning stove. I've been maintaining this lighthouse on my own since it was officially decommissioned 20 years ago, Thomas explained as they took seats around a rustic wooden table. Budget cuts, they said. But these waters are dangerous and I couldn't just walk away. Jim nodded thoughtfully. We weren't aware anyone was still here. The light wasn't listed in any recent maritime guides. Not surprised, Thomas replied. I send letters to the Coast Guard every year but never get a response. Figured they had more pressing concerns. Maria looked around. You've been here all alone? Mostly, Thomas said. Occasionally, fishermen stop by and a supply boat comes every few months. Stevens leaned forward. Mr. Miller, maintaining an unregistered lighthouse could pose risks to navigation. Ships rely on accurate charts. Thomas sighed. I understand, but I couldn't stand the thought of ships wrecking because there was no warning. This lighthouse has saved countless lives over the years. Jim considered this. Your dedication is commendable. However, we need to ensure that all navigational aids are properly documented. Agreed, Thomas said. I'd be happy to cooperate. Just didn't know who to contact anymore. Well, you've got our attention now, Jim assured him. We'll report this to the proper authorities and see about getting this lighthouse officially recognized again. A relieved smile spread across Thomas's face. That would be wonderful. Over the next few hours, the team conducted a thorough inspection of the lighthouse. They noted its condition, the functionality of the light, and gathered all necessary information to update maritime records. Back on the USS Aurora, Jim contacted Fleet Command to relay their findings. Commander Reynolds, this is Admiral Hayes, came the response. Your report is unexpected. Yes, Admiral, Jim replied. We recommend that the lighthouse be reinstated on navigational charts and that Mr. Miller receive support to maintain it properly. Admiral Hayes paused, agreed. We'll coordinate with the Coast Guard and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to update the records. Good work, Commander. Thank you, Admiral. In the following days, supplies and personnel were sent to the lighthouse. Engineers assisted in upgrading the equipment, ensuring the light met modern standards. Thomas was overwhelmed by the support. I never imagined so much help, he said gratefully to Jim and Maria as they oversaw the efforts. It's the least we can do, Maria replied. Your commitment likely prevented accidents in these waters. Jim nodded. Consider this a partnership moving forward. News of the rediscovered lighthouse spread, capturing public interest. Media outlets ran human interest stories highlighting Thomas's dedication. Donations poured in to assist with the lighthouse's upkeep. One evening, as the sun set, the crew of the Aurora was invited to a small ceremony at the lighthouse. The upgraded light was officially relit, symbolizing a new chapter. Thomas stood before the gathered crowd, his voice filled with emotion. I kept this light burning because I believed it made a difference. Seeing all of you here today, I know it was worth it. Thank you for ensuring that this beacon will continue to guide sailors safely home. Applause erupted, and Jim felt a sense of pride. Moments like this reminded him of why he served. As the crew prepared to depart the next morning, Thomas approached the dock to bid them farewell. You're always welcome here, he told them. Don't be strangers. We'll be sure to visit, Jim promised, shaking his hand firmly. Back on the bridge of the Aurora, Maria looked out at the now distant lighthouse. Hard to believe we almost passed it by. Sometimes the most important missions aren't the ones we're assigned, Jim mused, but the ones we stumble upon. Stevens joined them. Sir, coordinates and charts have been updated fleet-wide. The lighthouse is officially recognized again. Excellent, Jim replied. Set a course for our next patrol. As the ship moved forward, the crew felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had made a tangible impact, not just in fulfilling their duties, but in connecting with the people they served. Months later, during another patrol, they received a message from Thomas. Lights shining bright, seas have been calm, grateful for your help. Safe travels. Jim smiled as he read the note aloud to the crew. Good to hear he's doing well. Maria glanced at the horizon. Makes you wonder how many other forgotten places are out there, waiting to be found. Indeed, Jim agreed. We'll keep our eyes open. The USS Aurora continued its mission, vigilant and ready. The encounter with the lighthouse had reinforced a valuable lesson, that duty was not just about following orders, but about making a difference whenever and wherever possible. In the end, The mysterious light on the horizon wasn't a ghostly apparition or a temporal anomaly, but a testament to one man's unwavering dedication and the impact that individuals can have when they choose to act. The Navy's role in bringing that dedication to light reaffirmed their commitment to service, reminding them all of the importance of their presence on the seas. Disclaimer: this channel does not support or tolerate any form of discrimination, racism, prejudice, or violation of human rights. The stories presented here are original and created by the author with the aim of promoting reflection, awareness, and dialogue. All content is developed with respect for diversity and the dignity of all people.